Are we? Are we ready? I don't know. What the hell's going on? All right. So where are we up to? We're coming up to our 12-month anniversary. So stay tuned for that because we might we're thinking about doing a live podcast. Here with Dan Price,
Hello.
Sarah McCoy, the real McCoy, and
Naomi Sierra.
Naomi.
And Flora Shear.
Flora Shear. That's beautiful.
What are your pronouns, just to confirm?
She, her. Oh, she, they, sorry.
She, her for me.
Cool. And your poets, Crackham editors, former Crackham editors, journalists, shall I say journalist?
Yeah, I guess that's technically what I do. I do.
I don't, yeah.
Right. So, you guys going to join this interview with me, or are you just going to dump me here in it?
Oh, why don't you take a moment to introduce yourself for the listeners?
Okay, cool. So my name's Naomi Sierra, she, they. Previous Crackham editor, and yeah, I currently work as a journalist, and I also freelance, and I'm a writer in my spare time.
Many things.
Many things.
Multitudes.
I contain multitudes as the poem. As the poem.
Right. Yeah. Did you hear? Bob Dylan recently did a version of that.
No.
It's
what?
called "I Contain Multitudes." So he's referencing
Great.
Walt Whitman, and I paired that with teaching your poem "Supernova." To my
Wow.
class. Yeah,
Love
yeah.
that. Love that.
I'll send you the link. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm Flora Shear, pronouns she, her. What do I do? I'm still a student at the moment. I study law, psychology, and criminology. And I was also Crackham editor last year. And I do photography, I do film, yeah.
So law, psychology, and criminology. Are you planning on being a vigilante?
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
She's going to photograph the crimes as they happen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, photograph myself, get in the corner. Yeah.
How did you guys meet each other?
Oh. Crackham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
'Cause-
2021.
Yeah, before we were
yeah.
editors, we were co-workers.
Yeah.
How did you become editor of Crackham?
You just apply.
Yeah.
Actually, applications are open soon. So,
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think they're open right now.
Oh, are they? Okay,
I
yeah.
don't know.
Oh, there you go, Sarah.
No way. It seems like a big time commitment.
Yeah.
I might apply to be like a staff writer or something.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Or you're too busy with the Chronicle.
Yeah, that
Can't
too.
run two publications. Cool. And you've got kind of big news because you've just released a poem, Naomi, and it's been turned into a film.
Yeah, so that was, Starling, the journal, very kindly accepted my poem for publication, Supernova. And I honestly just randomly came across an ad for the Aotearoa Poetry Film Festival. And I thought that was really cool. And I know a director. So Flora does photography. So I kind of just went, hey, Flora, what do you think about this? And I thought that the poem itself was kind of suited to that sort of a format, or like a visual format, because there's a lot of imagery in there. And so we just had a chat about what we kind of wanted the film to look like, and like the ideas, themes through the film. And
So you became a writer on the film as well?
no, actually Flora did the whole screenplay by herself, but I'll let Flora talk about it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I also like saw that ad like a while back, and I was like, oh, cool. But I didn't really think much about it. And then you hit me up, and I was like, oh, right. Oh, maybe we should do something.
How many people do you think would have like applied for that?
So they told us that it was like over 200.
280 entries,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
Was it?
something like that.
Both international and local.
Yeah, which
Wow.
is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And like, so the film's been made, or it's being made, or
It's
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
it's out there? What's
Yeah.
it called?
Supernova.
Yeah.
Supernova. Where can people see it?
Is it online yet?
It's not online yet, because we're waiting for it to premiere first.
Wow. When's the premiere?
Next Thursday in
Cool.
Wellington.
Yeah. Hopefully
Mount
it goes
Eden.
supernova.
No. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
What's the story about?
So I guess the poem itself is just kind of like, honestly, Dan probably whip out your classes analysis and they'll do a better job than I ever could. But it's kind of like, I don't know, I wanted to put into words like this sort of feeling that I sometimes had, that there was just so much inside me that I couldn't like get out or express, or there's only on the surface it's one thing, but yeah. So the poem starts with "I am not a writer," because
You're a liar.
yeah, yeah, I am a liar. Well, as in like, it is kind of that sort of I wanted the voice to be very like, what's it called? Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting all my English terms. Unreliable narrator. Yeah. Because sometimes it feels that way to like myself. Like I feel the monologue in my own head is like a bit unreliable. So anyway, that poem just kind of came out of that feeling, and so we kind of talked about identity, and we talked about I guess it's almost a little bit like imposter syndrome in there, and we just kind of. And I guess Flora and I, we have talked a lot about those things over the course of working together as well. So, yeah, I don't know. It was a really cool little collaboration. Yeah. I thought it was perfect because it's like both of our, I guess, skills.
Yeah. Would you be comfortable reading it for us?
Sure. Oh, God. Sure. Okay, this is Supernova. Honestly, this does remind me of when Flora and I were doing the film. I sat in the back of her car with the remote
to record the voiceover.
And Flora was like, "Yell it!" Or
Let's try that again.
Let's one more time from the top. Now read it like this. I was like, okay. Anyway, this is Supernova. I'm not a writer. I'm a figure in a snow globe dancing in the storm. I'm a girl in a mask wearing another mask underneath. I am a star glowing neon orange. I am a heavenly body twisting faster into orbit, reaching for the abyss. I am a galaxy collapsing, folding softly toward a singular center. I am white-hot heady jasmine. I am a swarm of bees. I am an unsteady consciousness on the verge of...
Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a button for the applause.
Push the wrong one, probably.
Yeah, fair enough.
Oh no.
Oh, there we go. Sorry about that.
Damn.
Quite good.
You gotta label those buttons.
So how long did the film take to make?
Not long at all. We literally put it together in like over a month, just over a month.
Yeah, because we didn't have very long to, like everything I do, it was a last minute job. It was like 2 months out from the deadline, 3 months out from the deadline, or something like that.
It was like 2-3 months from the deadline when you like first brought it up to me, and I was like, oh cool, and you were still in Wellington at that point. And I was like in the middle of exams, so I was like, let's just put a pin in that, and let's revisit that.
And then actually as soon as I came back to Auckland, Flora was like, right, I've got a crew, I've got a studio, it's at this time, bring this. I was like, oh okay.
Here's a screenplay.
Here's a screenplay.
So you're writing for, is it a spin-off that you write for, or is it?
I have a freelance like sort of relationship with them, so I did work with them on a 6-month contract for a while, and then when that ended, I kind of just kept that relationship with them. So every so often I will put out like a little piece with them. It's mostly partner pieces now, actually. So mostly.
Do you write for anyone else, or?
So I actually currently my permanent part-time job is at a place called School News, just like a little education industry magazine for teachers, which I emailed to you. And
when you sent me that, I asked my colleagues, I was like, hey, this person writes for schoolnews.co.nz, and nobody had heard of it.
That's it. Like it is quite a small company, and we send out like magazines. Honestly, it's like it's probably like in the junk mail pile in your. But it's a really cool it's a really cool job. I think it's nice to talk to teachers. It's nice to like hear what's going on. And then with Thursdays and Fridays, which I don't work, I either freelance for Spinoff, or I have also written for The Listener and stuff, and
Panto.
Oh yeah, Pantograph. Pantograph Punch. So there's a few publications that I write for, but honestly I'm actually trying to keep those days free to do creative writing,
Hey, we need creative writing for the Chronicle.
Yeah, we do. You can't rely on ChatGPT forever.
Yeah. What's your advice to young writers out there? You're super prolific with your writing, so
I'm actually not. Thank you for saying that. I'm actually not. Like, okay, actually, that's very interesting to think about, because I would say I wish I wrote more, but potentially that's one of those, like, maybe that is part of the advice, is like not to put, well, obviously it's good to have a little bit of pressure to like try and have goals for how much you want to write and things like that. But from my point of view, I feel like I don't write enough. So it's interesting that other people think I write quite a lot. I write in like short bursts, and I think I wish that I could write more regularly and more steadily. But I would say that, to sum it up, maybe the advice is that find out what works for you, how you write, how what your style is, what sort of things you want to write, and like keep going. Even if you I don't know, like have a period of inactivity, then that doesn't matter. Like you can start writing again tomorrow. There's nothing to stop you from doing that. Like don't give up, basically, because
is it a viable career though for people? Because you talk about freelancing, but my experience of freelancing is you don't get paid a lot and you don't get paid often. I mean, I've been known to wait 3 months for a publisher to settle their account, and these are major publishers. These are not some industry magazine. Actually, industry magazines do provide a good outlet for writers with specific industry knowledge. But I mean, is your income consistent?
No, I would say it's not, actually. And yeah, that's a really good point, honey. Like, I find the same thing. Some really established media companies will take a really, really long time to pay me, like, pennies, basically. It feels like I'm begging.
This is after, and this is after an agreement's been made for services provided, and then they treat you like you're some sort of serf to be given some scraps off the table.
You should be grateful that we're paying you for that. And it's like, well, actually, it's, what I get a lot, actually. Oh, you're an emerging writer, or like, oh, you're like, you've only just started. So the undertone is like, it's okay for us to treat you like this.
For us, we can't afford to pay you.
Yeah, you get exposure.
But it'd be great for yours. Look, my portfolio looks fucking amazing. My bank balance, not so much. Speaking of which, if you do want to support us young, struggling, private, independent producers of media, you can. Through buymeacoffee.com, search Cairo Chronicle, the Patreon account, which you're welcome to support us there. You can, Sarah will put out her bank account online, and you can pay off her credit card fee. Look, any help is appreciated, because I never really thought of myself as an artist, but there is an artistic merit to what we all do. And, we deserve to eat too, So go see the movie.
Yeah. And do donate, because, like, I will say it is very... I don't know why it's so hard for people to treat artists, or, like, people to treat writers as persons providing services, right? You wouldn't, like, hold out on your electrician for, like,
you wouldn't go to your mechanic, look...
I
can't afford to pay you, but it'll be great for your exposure. I'll tell all my friends.
Everyone you did this.
Exactly.
The problem is, all your friends want me to work for them for free too.
And
and the thing is, the other side of that is when you do contribute professional quality work for free, you actually undermine all your colleagues. All your colleagues are then struggling to compete against you. That's why we have a situation where a lot of editing in New Zealand is actually done in India. Those are jobs that used to be, you graduate from journalism school, but you weren't actually that great a journalist. So you could always get a job as a sub-editor. Now that's all gone offshore.
Interesting. I actually didn't know that.
So not only are we fighting against each other for work, we're also fighting against somebody in a country we've never been to.
No. We're uplifting each other for work.
Exactly.
We're supporting. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's, as the modern professionals, we do more support each other than compete with each other.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, the publishing industry in New Zealand is not small. Oh, to get back to your original question, sorry, honey.
Was there an original question?
Yeah, you asked whether it's a viable... whether it's a viable career, and I actually would say yes, but it depends on how much you're willing to sacrifice. I'm not willing to, I guess, get a 9 to 5. I could get a 9 to 5, 40 hours a week. Like, I would say there's no shortage of writing jobs out there for people who want to go into those. But as you say, like, I think the industry as a whole has a bit of a terrible reputation, and some of my friends who are working like full time for big publishing, like as journalists for bigger companies, they're telling me about the company culture. They're telling me about how they're treated, like how much they're expected to work, and I honestly couldn't hack it. I will say that much. I couldn't hack it. You do have to be a certain sort of person. You have to be very driven, and especially in the news cycle, I just couldn't do it. It's just so much sad stuff happening all the time, and like honestly, it is very privileged of me to be able to step back and say I can't do that, but like I'm gonna take that. Actually, I'm gonna take that privilege and say I actually even with education right now, it's like, oh gosh, there's some interesting stories happening. But I'm lucky to be able to do that 3 days a week. I live with my parents, full transparency, so I don't have to pay rent.
Man, my mum charged me rent from the time I got a paper run.
Yeah, I'm lucky. Like, I am definitely very lucky. And when I freelance, that's like extra income. All of it is like, I'm able to put it into savings. I know other people can't. So is it a viable career? It is if you have
live with your parents.
Yeah, if you live with your parents. If you don't live with your parents, if you're willing to work in an, maybe it exists that there's an office out there that will like respect your time and space and energy and but so far I haven't found one. So
do you think that gives you the privilege though, like to actually pick and choose the work that you want to produce, so that you kind of, by taking the moral high ground, then are you able to write work that you can stand back from and go, wow, I'm really proud of that piece of work, rather than these are today's petrol rates at garages, or this is why you can't afford a house this month?
Yeah, this is another thing that I really struggled with, was being in the modern news landscape. The incentives are to put out as much content as possible, as quickly as possible.
Journalism.
And it's honestly, I was not proud of the work that I was putting out. I know that there were sometimes inaccuracies in there. It wasn't my job as a junior writer to check for inaccuracies, but it fell back on me. Like, that was my name on the page. My editors didn't stand by me. I wasn't really given a lot of advice. This is my personal experience. Obviously, some organizations really like do well by their junior writers, but for me, in that experience, I just felt like at the end of it, like, okay, I will step back. Like, I do have the privilege to step back, and then being a freelancer, I can take on what the projects that I want to take on. When I pitch, it's stories that I want to write. I'm not bound, contractually obligated to be producing this many stories a week, which means that the stories that I do produce, if I want to work on something slowly for a month, I can. Obviously, it's probably not worth my time and money because I won't get a big return on it. So I don't. But like, if I wanted to do that, that would be an option that's open to me. So yeah, it is about, it's hard. There's like a lot of things to balance. And I definitely am in a very fortunate position as a writer, as a journalist, to be able to do those things.
This is a question for both of you. You both studied at Auckland University, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I actually studied at Otago first.
Well, I believe they have South Island somewhere. Do you think your education actually set you up for a career?
Ooh.
Do you think you're well prepared?
Yes, for my degree, because I'm going to be working in law. So that's sort of like, I feel like if you take the pathway to do like a major degree, like engineering, med, law, for example, you're pretty much set up to go into a job. But if I only did my arts degree...
Hey, nothing wrong with an arts degree.
I'm feeling personally attacked right now.
Yeah, come on.
I'd struggle a bit.
Arts degrees are very valuable, I think.
Yeah.
Arts degrees are very valuable. But to answer your question honestly, I don't think that... I think what set me up for a career in writing, most of all, was writing in student publications.
Yeah.
Kind of getting that sort of experience, like, you know, what are the deadlines like? You know, to be able to write is one thing. Obviously, you need that. So, like, to get instruction in, like, subject, verb, object, you know, like, the very basics. This is how you communicate. This is, like, yeah, that stuff is very important. You need that foundation. But to actually have a career, I think what set me up was actually just going out and doing it. And anyone can do it, especially anyone listening wants to write, or, like, you know, you have an issue you care about and you want to write, like, do it. Make sure they pay you though, because I know that, like, honestly, it's a bit insidious. I think things like, have you seen, oh, I'm gonna name drop, is that all right?
Yeah.
So I've seen Stuff Nation, where people, like, sign up as a subscription model, and then you can publish your own opinion piece on Stuff Nation. And sometimes on the Stuff landing page, I will click into a story and it will say powered by Stuff Nation or republished from Stuff Nation. In my mind, as someone who works in this industry, it's insidious because you're getting free content from actually, those people are paying you because it's a subscription model. So the users of Stuff Nation are paying Stuff to have their words be used as content. I think that...
Don't you think, though, that as journalists, as trained, you know, journalists, we kind of have an obligation to take the moral high ground? To say, you know, this is not right. This undermines the whole fundamental democratic nature of journalism.
Do you mean things like... What do you mean?
Well, if anybody and everybody can publish anything and everything... If everything is journalism,
Yes.
then nothing is journalism.
Yes. I agree.
When people read my work, they should be able to know that I subscribe to an ethical and moral profession. You know, I'm not going to go out there and defame somebody just for, you know, clickbait, because I could get in a lot of trouble for doing that. You know, I might say John T. Rutherford is a raving lunatic, but that's my honest opinion. It's not a fact, you know. And when people start presenting information as journalistic, you know, content that's been fact-checked, and it hasn't, then, you know, we wind up in a situation like this where nobody knows what's true and what's not true. So you have to, instead of relying on the content, rely on the person that's creating it. And that's what gives us power as journalists.
Yeah, well, I genuinely think that, like I said before, the incentives on the industry at the moment, like, kind of degrade, like, you know, the original function and purpose of journalism and the integrity of journalism too. And, you know, I could feel it happening to me when I worked in a newsroom. And I think for some, it takes a lot for... to stand strong on that moral high ground. I think genuinely the industry as it stands makes it very, very difficult for journalists within that industry to stand by those principles and those ethics.
When you're competing against content like cat videos.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't love cat videos?
I mean, exactly. And, like, you know, there's no solution. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, journalists should do this, or, like, you know, the industry should do this. But also, like, us as journalists, you know, we have principles, we have ethics, we have codes, but actually the gatekeepers of those codes, I feel, are editors. Editors are the ones whose jobs
and there are so many hack editors.
And there are so many
Shout out
editors.
to the Weekend Sun and Taronga, fucking hacks.
And the head editors, they're telling you what to write sometimes.
Yeah. And so sometimes, like, I mean, as journalists, like, you know, you have those, you know what you should be doing, you know what's correct, but often the pressures that are put on you by editors, by algorithms, by, you know, whatever else.
Sponsors,
yeah, 100%. Where's the money coming from? You know, there's a lot of stuff out there right now that erodes away at journalistic integrity, and it's sad, and it is very difficult that it comes down to, do people, like for me it comes down to, I have the privilege to stick by my journalistic integrity. Honestly, I was looking at jobs because eventually I think I will have to get a 9 to 5. I will have to take that step. But you know what I was looking at? I was looking at tabloids. Like I was looking at, some of those like
The Herald.
Like no, because I mean like honest to goodness like gossip columns, because I kind of find that those are a bit more like they have more integrity. You get what you pay for on the tin, right? Like this is purely speculation. It says it on the front cover. Like I feel like I would.
By the way,
yeah.
I am not the father of Chloe Schwalbrook's child.
yeah.
I'm just going on the record, like denouncing all rumours that Chloe Schwalbrook and I have any kind of relationship.
Yes.
Deny.
Yes.
What about Brad Pitt?
Oh, come on. Who hasn't?
But yeah, like I genuinely think that sometimes it's more honest to say I'm being dishonest right now than to present stuff that as the truth.
Yeah. You guys deserve all the support you can get. Do you want to plug your socials or something? People can follow you, see what you're doing.
Sure, I guess my Instagram is fluorescent. That's like Flora and then essent.
And my name is it's just Naomi Sia. My handle is just my name. It's a bit of a tricky spelling, but you know what? I'm gonna let you guys figure that out.
All right. This is my last question because we are running short on time, and I love those shoes. I love patent and leather.
Thanks.
That's not my question. That's
Flora
more of a
has
statement.
buckets of style. Actually, you should follow her because she put her outfit checks up, and it's like,
Right.
save.
Who's your top 3 band members for fantasy band camp? If you're setting up a band, ultimate band, who would be your lead singer, your guitarist, or your drummer? Living or dead? Fictional or real?
Can I cheat and say I would set up a band of the people in this room right now?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What can you guys play?
Dan's actually a really good guitarist.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Six can sing. And I can write lyrics, maybe.
Yeah, go on. I really want to learn drums or bass because I think women playing drums or bass, very hot, very sexy. Yeah, I want to have that sex appeal, so that's going to be me in the future.
Final questions?
Final question. Who's a poet that deserves more rep?
Honestly, I love New Zealand poetry. I think New Zealand poets in general need more representation, like need more rep, need more love. We have a beautiful poetry scene, and there's books, there's collections coming out all the time. I genuinely think we're in like a new golden age of New Zealand poetry. Like it's happening right now. So like just walk into any of your local bookstores, pick up a book from the New Zealand section, guaranteed banger. Like you cannot go wrong. Claudia Jardine, Baita, Isla Huias, Talia, Chris Teese. Everyone knows about Chris Teese. He's poet laureate, gorgeous poetry. Nathan Joe, very great. His plays also you can find and read. Honestly, so many more. Tay Tibble.
I love Tay Tibble.
Tay Tibble, yeah.
All right. Thank you very much to our guests, Naomi and Laura.
Flora.
Flora. Fluorescent. Sorry about that. So rude. Co-host Sarah, co-host Dan, thank you very much to all our supporters. Thank you very much for downloading, sharing. If you can support us, please do. Love you. Stay tuned for the 12-month anniversary episode. Oh, you're too kind. Too kind.
Thank you.